All right. Hello, everybody. I am Chloe. This is Word Stitch. I am the weirdest shade of red right now. That's not me. It's the camera. I've got and like the screen, my computer screen, um, bouncing off of my face. It just happens to be a really aggressive shade of pink right now. Oh, you know what? It doesn't look as bad. I've got my computer set up. I have the computer that I'm streaming onto is there. Um, and the computer that I'm actually looking at is there. Is where, yeah. The computer that I'm actually looking at has the night. It goes slightly orangish at night, so it's actually not as bad now that I'm looking at it. It's okay. Anyways, hey, welcome to the show. We're going to be going until 10 p.m. Eastern today. Oh, God. I'm so sorry I didn't mean to do that. I'm wide awake, I swear. I've been sleepy all day. I don't know what it is. But like, I had some really tedious work that I was doing. I was updating back matter and a bunch of things. I got all of that done. Yay. But I also had I had an outline to do today. It's the outline, or it's the pre-writing, whatever you want to call it. I'm laggy, aren't I? Anyways, it was the outline for the novella that's going with my demon series. It actually has to be a novella, so I am doing an outline to keep that outline length. And I don't know why, but like I just could not focus on it. It's super short, and I didn't even get it finished today, so I feel really bad about that because I have to. I'm aiming to get it written in 5 days, and it needs to get done by the 31st. I'm hoping to have some other stuff done by the 31st. I'd really like to have a sewing day somewhere in there because I'm sitting on a bunch of sewing projects right now. It's quilts. I've got 2 quilt tops that are done and just need to be sandwiched and quilted and bound. And I feel like one of them is small enough that I can get it done in a day. I just actually need that day. And the longer it takes me to get going on this progress, on this story, then the less time I'm going to have for that. So today's the 24th. If I get this written in 5 days, that's the 29th, and that leaves 2 days. I might be able to do this. But yeah, so I'm stuck in that outlining. Hey, Courtney, thanks for joining. So I'm not going to be outlining tonight because I do have my the medium project that is an everyday thing that I need to get done. I did get, excuse me. I did get a decent chunk of the outline done. I probably got about 3/4 of it done. Ignore my computer blowing up right now. I'm going to go ahead and just mute this computer because I feel like he's going to be spamming me. That's okay. I got, oh gosh. Yeah, so I just muted you. Why are you still beeping at me? I heard that. Ignore me, sorry. Okay, it's muted. Oh, excuse me while I just yell at my computer like a lunatic. So I'm using, I don't know if any of y'all do this, but I am using a beat sheet right now just because I am having this issue where I really do have to keep everything really tight on this one. So I'm using a beat sheet. It's one of Jamie Gold's. It's not that computer that's beeping. Jesus God. It's that computer that's beeping. There we go. Hey, La Monique. I'm sorry. I'm chasing down beeping computers because I'm getting spammed right now. Anyway, so I'm using an outline from Jamie Gold. It is based on Save the Cat. It is her romance-specific one. And I've gotten all of the points at least roughly done through to pinch point 2, which means I'm probably about 2/3 of the way there. I just gotta like suck it up and finish it. This isn't difficult. I don't know why I'm being like this today. I did also update a bunch of back matter today, and I'm mostly done with that task I need to get done this month. But tonight I am going to be working on one of my medium stories. So I am going to be starting that now. It is a fresh one. I haven't picked it up yet at all. I just figured out what I am doing like 10 minutes ago. I figured out what the story is going to be. So it's going to be fantasy or kind of fantasy, maybe a ghost. I don't know. It's going to be somebody who isn't actually there. Okay, so we're ready for 10 minutes to start out. Did I actually add that? No. It's okay. This is just that like first sprint of the day jitters. Okay, there we go. That is what I want. We are going to write for the next 10 minutes. After that, we'll be doing 20-minute sprints. I will see you guys at 8:17 Atlanta time. Okay, that was time. Let me know how you did. Let me know what you're working on. I wrote 127 words because I had to do just a little tiny bit of research. I promise that like the last thing I want to do with these short stories is spend a whole bunch of time on research, but I just I needed to know what the correct term was for the or correct term is for the types of boats that my family had growing up. We we are from Delaware, which is of course a peninsula. So there was a great deal of boating there. We had like a little fishing boat. We lived on a mill pond. So I had like a little tiny rowboat, and we had like a little motor on it if we wanted a motor. We had one of those, but also we had like an ocean worthy boat, not a big one by any means. We were not going out into like open seas on this thing, but it was enough to noodle around in the mostly in the riverways and the bay, the Delaware Bay. So anyways, I was like, what is the name of this boat? Because it's not a sailboat, it's not a fishing boat, it's not any of the like little itty bitty boats that are out there. I know that there is a term for this type of boat. I just can't think of what it is. It's a cabin cruiser. I knew that. And also, like, I don't know why. I'm assuming it's because the first boat we had, my family and family friends of our family, both got boats at the same time, and we had an inboard and they had an outboard. Um, and ours had a cabin and theirs didn't. So when I was little, I thought that that cabin was because it was an inboard boat. It's not. It's because of the size of the boat and also just like the design. But so like I always think of like a boat with a cabin on it being an inboard boat. That's not how boats work. It's a cabin cruiser, which is of course for like with a boat that has a cabin, but is meant for like joyriding as opposed to fishing or sport, as in like boat racing, because fishing is also a sport. La Monique finished up dinner on that first sprint. Excellent. We did really crappy dinner tonight because my roommate wasn't feeling well. And I thought this was kind of weird. I asked him, like, he doesn't get sick that often. So, and I'm home and I'm good. So I asked him, like, what he wanted for dinner, what is going to sit right with him. And he didn't have an answer for me. Like, he's almost 40 years old and he has no idea what food works best in his stomach when his stomach is upset. And I found that to be very strange. But ultimately, we decided like the closest that he could compare to was being hungover, and that Burger King worked well for that. I'm vegetarian, so Burger King happens to work well for me because I do have a veggie burger at it. And then our Burger King happens to have a Dunkin' Donuts right next door. So that was my whole shitty dinner. But it's really rare that I have fast food. Especially now, honestly, now that I don't have like I have a job where I have to leave the house, I don't I couldn't tell you the last time I had fast food other than donuts. I do love donuts. I mean, obviously I love donuts, but I don't really eat fast food. So it was worth it. Yeah, that was my shitty dinner. It's okay. La Monique is working on a second draft, editing and adding scenes, so probably not much of a workout tonight. That's okay though. It's, the nice thing about rough drafts is that it's really easy to mark the progress with them. It's not with edits, and especially that first edit where you can be stuck on the same scene for like hours and then all of a sudden fly through like 5 scenes with no problems. Proofreading is easy to track too, because you can really seamlessly track through chapters, but in that editing phase, it is really hard to show progress on it, but I'm sure you're progressing, and that's the important thing. And let's see, Courtney took out the trash and started on dishes. So you went with easy pre-cooked rotisserie chicken from Sam's and pre-made mashed potatoes. I support that. If it's just me here, pretty much everything I make is like frozen from Aldi or wherever. And yes, I am currently a full-time author. It looks like I'm going to have to go back to work for a little while because I'm in a situation where I'm going to need to prove income soon, and that's a little tricky. First year as a full-time author. I've been writing for a while, but I just went full-time in October. So it looks like I might be heading toward needing loans soon, and it looks like I'm going to be going back to work very briefly just to have like proof of income and then move on. That's okay. I'm good with that. I've got a job lined up that if I need to, it's always available to me. So let's go ahead and do our next sprint. We're going to go for 20 this time. And we're all going to get better progress this time because we all got our chores done and dinner is done and everything else. So let's go for 20. And I'll see you guys at 8:43. Okay, that is time. Let me know how you did. I think I wrote like 300 words there. I did end up having to do a little bit more research. Gosh darn it. I didn't yawn during that entire sprint. And of course, like once I'm live and people are looking at me, here I go yawning again. Anyways, I did a decent amount of writing, but then I ended up having to do some research again. I feel like I'm always researching the dumbest things imaginable. This story is basically set around a shipwreck. The ship isn't wrecked, it is out of gas. It is a cabin cruiser. It's a little personal boat. The guy's on an island, and I wanted to make sure that his condition or his situation didn't seem that dire. So there's a bunch of palm trees and there's tons of coconuts, so he's got fresh water that way. And I don't want him to have to go into the interior of the island and deal with jungle and potentially, venomous snakes and man-eating big cats and whatnot. So I said, well, there just needs to be fish in the water. But like I, for some reason, decided I had to state what kind of fish were in the water. I have no idea what kind of fish you eat and try. I mean, I guess you eat like whatever flipping fish you can get. But I felt like I had to name the breed of fish that he saw that he knows he can go catch. So there are schools of mackerel that he paddled his boat through. I don't know why I'm like this, but I am. I also feel like the research that I do kind of highlights the like really bizarre holes in my knowledge base. I also had to pull up pictures of islands to make sure that the geography in my brain made sense. I don't know. When people are like paddling up to a deserted island, it's always this like really pretty cove, or it's literally that lump of sand with the single palm tree coming out of it. That doesn't even make any sense. I call shenanigans on that. But that's not actually how islands are for the most part. Most of island is not a sand. Sand is small parts of islands. I mean, some of them are, but also some of them are like great rocky cliffs. Like Ireland. I'm sure Ireland has beaches, but it's funny because you think of islands of being nothing but beaches, and you think of Ireland as being nothing but rocky cliffs. And I bet they have. I bet there's beaches in Ireland. I don't know. I've never been there, but I feel like it would be weird if they didn't have it. And I know that they're probably carved from fjords, and that's why they're so rocky. But anyways, I'm sorry. This is exactly how I am on research. Lemony got most of chapter 4 done. Well done. And yeah, I love the research too. Because I learn things and I like to learn things. And sometimes it's things that I really should have known much earlier in life, but at least I'm learning them now. And like, this thing that I've never understood my entire life totally makes sense now. So yeah. Courtney got 371 in the brainstorming phase. Courtney is always a powerhouse with great numbers. Even in the brainstorming phase, she beat me on her word count. I'm supposed to be writing an entire short story right now. That's okay. That's okay. I'm fine. One of these days, my numbers will get back up where they need to be. And hopefully that'll be tomorrow when I'm back to doing rough drafts. So let's go ahead and do our next sprint. It is 8:49 right now, so we are going to go until 9:09. I will see you guys then. Oh, why did you do that? That was really weird. Oh, because don't mind me. I'm like trying to do things on two computers. I've said this many times. I try to do things on two computers and it goes wrong. Anyways, I will see you at 9:09. Okay, that is time. Had a grouchy mouse there, but we're back. Let me know how you did. Hey, Greg, thanks for joining and saying hi. Glad to see you. Sorry, phone freaking out here. Yeah, so I'm at 900 words now. I'm at 898, and I don't remember where I was last time, but I feel like I was in the 400, so I pretty much doubled. So yeah, without research, I got done in 20 minutes. What I had gotten done previously in 30 minutes with research. So progress. The story is moving along. The story, I really wanted it to be finished at 1,000 words, and it is already at 900. That is okay. I'm still getting better at this. Um, Again, the story was not supposed to have a massive setup. Here we are. It took like 800 words to get the damn thing set up. That's fine. Everything's fine. It was supposed to be like this dude arriving on a mysterious island and having an encounter with a mysterious person on that island. It probably could have been said in like 300 words. But here we are at 900 words, and only about 100 of those are the actual like meat of the story. It's okay. It's fine. My pacing is totally fine. Yeah. Sorry, I'm also looking at numbers right now. So I mentioned this before, but this is the best month that I've had so far. And it's awesome, but all of my numbers are weird with that. My word count, I am at 898 right now, and that is for all three sprints together. But I believe I had like 436 at the end of the last one, so I got 450-ish this time. But yeah, so my numbers are really weird. I feel like my book showed up on a list somewhere, and so things are going like great with like making sales on that book, but also the more like visibility your book gets, the more people who are probably not the right audience for your book pick it up, and the more your ratings start to sink. And also, like, I'm at this point where the one book is doing substantially better than all of the others. And I'm hoping, like, I was sitting at a really good read through rate, and I'm hoping that, like, after this initial push goes through, it'll, like, balance back out. But, La Monique, I write paranormal romance. My primary series is demon romance. This one is a Christmas demon for Clara. The entire series, this is another thing. It seemed like really clever at the time, but all of the books have a holiday that they are centered around, which is good and bad because people are less likely to pick up a Christmas book in May, even though the second book is an Easter book. So it's been like janky trying to market it. I'm going to have a spin-off series for it that will hopefully like help balance that out. So I can get like more return readers to this series because it is overall doing really well. Like, I'm complaining about my rating going down, but my rating on the first book is I think I'm at 4.3 right now. It still has a good rating. That is the Goodreads rating. The Amazon rating, I'm definitely at like 4.5 stars. Thankfully, all of the people who have been giving me 3-star ratings on Goodreads haven't gone to Amazon. So my Goodreads rating is going down, but Amazon's still good. It's really interesting though, like hitting this point in my career where I'm actually like having success happen and all the weird things that come along with it. So it's a strange time because like I see the like future. Like I am absolutely, I was at that point where I still felt like not imposter syndrome, but still like, I might not actually make it. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm super close to there. Like another couple of months, I'm going to be in great shape. But also now all of these like little weird things are happening, like all of these 3-star ratings for no reason. I didn't deserve this. Not on this book. Everybody loved this book, and now this is happening. Anyways, let's go ahead and do our next sprint. And Courtney got 556 on that, so that is fantastic. Let's go ahead and do our next sprint. Yes, the Goodreads crowd is tough. I feel like the Goodreads, a lot of people on Goodreads don't actually use ratings as ratings. They use it for like their own weird systems for things. I don't know. Yeah. Like I definitely have somebody who like gave me a 3-star rating and then gave the second book a 3-star rating. I don't, if I read a book and I give it a 3-star rating, I am not picking up the next book in the series. Unless I'm like 5 books in and every other book was fantastic. And then this one book really, really blew. But I still have hope for it. But if it's the first book of the series and I give it a 3, I'm never looking at it again. Like, you guys, you did okay, but it's not my jam. Okay. It is 9:16. So this sprint is going to take us to 9:36, and we'll be able to get one more sprint in there. I think I want to finish my story in these next 2 sprints. So everything is on track for me. I will see you guys at 9:36. Okay, that is time. Let me know how you did. I know my actual word count this time because I talked so much about it last time. I got 486 this time. So really good count. Wish I wasn't losing my voice right now. It's okay. It's that time of year. So yeah, let me know how you guys did. I Yeah, so I because I was talking about Goodreads, I popped over to my page right quickly, and the very first book in my feed, that was what was there. Very first book in my feed. Somebody who I follow posted a review of a book. She rated it 3 stars, and her review started with a great introduction to the Sons of Devils MC. That's don't I don't care how flawed the book is. If it is good enough that despite its flaws, you give it 3 stars, or no, I'm sorry. If it is good enough that despite its flaws, you still describe it as a great book, then it needs to be 4 stars, right? I mean, I guess when I'm asking a bunch of writers, we're all going to be in agreement on that. But I just I find the systems that people use for rating these books to be really weird. Um, so it looks like, so I'm scrolling through it now because I didn't read it before. I just saw that very first line of it. It is a novella. I'm sure it is marketed as a novella. I'm trying to pull up its description right now. There is no description posted, so I can't say for definite on it. But it's also a new book. There's only five ratings total on it, and they've gotten 3 stars. Excuse me, 4 stars. They've gotten that's really weird. They've gotten 2 5s, a 4, and a 3. There's no description, but it is the first book in the series. I'm assuming that it's probably like a why am I blanking on the term? A reader magnet. And yeah, so their complaint is that it should have been longer, but it's a novella. And I'm assuming that the other books in the stories, again, are going to be longer. It so Um, Thorn is a short novella introducing us to the Sons of Devils MC. I think introducing an entire MC cast of characters, creating a world, and a love story within that world is mighty difficult in only 8 chapters. I enjoyed what I got, but I feel like there needed to be more to truly embrace and connect to these casts of characters. So, absolutely, as Courtney has just said, I think it should be 4 stars. Courtney says she's pretty lenient. I am too, but I also think when it is a situation like this, where it is the very first book in the series, and it's it's new, it's a novella. There are a lot of things that I'm taking into account here that I feel like she should not be getting so harsh a rating for it. Because usually, sorry, I'm not, sometimes I'm not good at like saying what I'm trying to say because I'm reading something and to develop my thoughts. I feel like from what I read in this one review, the fact that there's no description of the book yet, I feel pretty safe in saying that this is a reader magnet, and it's not intended to be like a sellable first book in this series. Uh, she could ultimately put it for sale, but I feel like it's probably going to be one of those stories where, like right now, in my Demon series, I have written the entire series, and now I am going back and writing a prequel story for a character whose relationship has already happened. Um, I feel like this is probably functioning in that situation where it is leading and written beforehand. So it's probably, um, again, sorry, my words are not formulating properly, but like she's really just setting up the world to attract people into the world so that when the actual books come out, there will be people who want to read them because they are interested in this world. And to peg her with low ratings will scare people off and think that it's bad when it's really just this one book is just an introduction to the series. And that is my goal again with this issue that I mentioned before with leading a book with a Christmas novel is not necessarily the smartest thing. That's why I'm doing this novella that I'm doing now, to lead people in somewhere else. And that's a lot of what reader magnets are for. It's not to actually make money, it's to attract people to the series. And I feel like probably the way this series is that this is just like the mom and pop couple for the series. Um, they're already established. You don't really need to know your background. They just have this like solid relationship. There's that one. I feel like if you read this genre at all, there's always going to be that one older couple that everything is stable and everybody else is like, well, I'm never going to do what that guy did. But it's nice that we have this relationship to look at. Um, and that's, but I don't know. It is what it is. The other side of that is that as a writer, I understand. We all understand what she's trying to do with it. We understand the ulterior motives for writing these reader magnets. But I feel like she probably wrote a really good one for this person to say 3 stars, but I really like it. So let's go ahead and do our final sprint. We're going to go for 20 one more time. We are going to, I'm going to be finishing up what I'm doing. So that should be another victory, but I will let you know when we're done. I will see you guys at 10:04. Okay, that was time, and unfortunately, Shadow, that was the end of the show. I finished my short story with 30 seconds to spare. I didn't mean to cut it that close, but I finished it, and that was all that mattered. It ended up being 1,800 words, and weird little thing with it. So this is for medium, and as I've mentioned quite a few times on the show, I was doing this challenge on medium where somebody had put together this challenge that had a list of 24 tropes and 24 prep words. It was a list of best words ever. I didn't really care for the list because they were all the like weird regional goofy words like kerfuffle and codswallop and whippersnapper. But you just had to use them and pick a trope. That is over now, and I was thinking about putting together my own challenge because I was really productive with it. It did help me a bunch, and I was thinking about putting together a challenge of fairy tales. Pick a fairy tale. Obviously, put together a list of fairy tales and do a fairy tale a day. Just something inspired by it. And this one ended up being a like riff on Little Mermaid. It was always like she was more of like a Selkie in my brain, but then like it was never like clearly figured out it was coming from the other character's perspective. So it's just a woman on a beach. This is weird. There is a woman on a deserted island, but maybe there's a population somewhere he doesn't know about. And at the end of it, she swims off, never to be seen again. But at one point, he realizes that she's never said a single thing the entire time. She's gestured that she can't understand him, but like she's never made a sound herself. And I was like, oh, I can absolutely use this for my challenge, so I might save it. This might be my motivation to absolutely put that challenge together. And I'm just going to save this story and cheat and be ahead. So let's see. Woo, there we go. Lemony got to chapter 9. That is fantastic. I know earlier you said I think that you were at chapter 4, so really well done. If you've gotten at least 5 chapters done. And you're using a series Bible to remember minor character names. I live for that when I am working on my big projects. All of my big projects, I have, depending on what program I'm writing them in, I either have an Excel spreadsheet with every single character name. And like, because I do write paranormal and therefore a bunch of fantasy elements, I have like spreadsheets devoted to all of that. So I make sure that all my world mechanics stay the same. And I will even, like with my demon series, they swear a lot and they swear in creative ways. So I even have a spreadsheet of all of the ways that they have sworn before. So if I need something on the fly, like there it is. So I cannot support enough having a series Bible to remember things like minor character names. Because Lord knows, like I will never remember the baker's assistant's name from the first book when I mention her in the 4th book without it. So I love that you're using a series Bible. On that note, I am going to call it a night. I will be back tomorrow and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 10 to 12. Is that everything? It is. That's the rest of my shows for this week. Next 2 days, 10 to 12 in a.m. That was a weird way of saying that. So you guys all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining, and I hope I'll see you guys again